Any market reform, any government initiative intended to reduce red tape and promote market forces will have the ultimate effect of increasing the total number of regulations, the total amount of paperwork, and the total number of bureaucrats the government employs.
We've all heard it before. We're going to streamline this new system will reduce the workload, let's cut through bureaucracy. But what actually happens? You wait longer, you fill out more forms, you spend more time explaining yourself to a person who's just following procedure. It's not just governments, it's companies, startups, even non-profits. This isn't bad luck, this is a pattern. In this video we are talking about what David Graeber called the Iron Law of Liberalism and why every attempt to simplify ends up making things way more complicated. Let's go! You've probably seen this up close. A company introduces a new reporting tool that's supposed to save time, but instead you're spending hours reshaping data just to make it compatible. Or a government launches a sleek new digital portal for permits, but somehow it asks for more documents, not fewer. Whether it's public or private, streamlining often leads to more steps, not less. Let's walk through some real-world examples of how fighting bureaucracy often just makes it stronger. Enterprise software. The dream? Replace clunky legacy system with sleek digital dashboard that do everything. The reality? Welcome to form-filling hell. In company after company, the rollout of ERP system, especially big ones like SAP or Oracle, has led to months of dual systems, endless training, and forms that no one understands. Take Hershey infamous ERP rollout in the late 90s. The company tried to implement a massive new system to streamline its supply chain and order management. But because system was rushed and under-tested, it led to widespread delays, backlogs, and missed shipments right before Halloween. Instead of simplifying operations, the new system introduced complexity that temporarily crippled the business. Sometimes automation doesn't replace paperwork, it just digitalizes it and multiplies it. In the 2010s, the UK government decided it would cut regulation by a simple method. For every new rule, scrap an old one. Then they upped the ante. For every new regulation, 2 had to go. Sounds efficient, right? Well, they hit the numbers, but mostly by scrapping ancient, meaningless rule. Meanwhile, new rules from the EU and domestic policies continued flowing in. Businesses still had to follow thousands of pages of active regulations, and guidance docs got longer, not shorter. They were playing regulation Tetris, not simplifying, just shifting the load around. Here is a classic. In 1980s, the US passed a law to cut paperwork. It even created a new office, the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, or OIRA. Their job? Stop agencies from flooding citizens and businesses with pointless forms. Fast forward to 2016, and Americans were spending 9.78 billion hours a year on federal paperwork. The IRS alone eats up 6 billion of those. So what happened? Turns out agencies weren't really punished for creating more forms. The Act just added a review process. So now, instead of less paperwork, we got paperwork about paperwork. Zappos tried something bold. Get rid of managers. Create self-governing teams, remove hierarchy. It was called Holacracy, and it was supposed to cut bureaucracy as well. Instead, house. Endless meetings to make decisions that no one could approve, no clear reporting lines, no one knew who was in charge. Within a few months, hundreds of employees left the company, the rest throwing in internal badging systems and troll negotiation spreadsheets. Turns out, getting rid of traditional managers doesn't kill bureaucracy, it just makes it weirder. So why does this keep happening? Why does every simplification project end up as a complexity generator. Bureaucracies protect their own survival. Once a system hires administrators or middle managers, those people gain incentives to keep the structure intact, even grow it. In medieval times, kings came and went, but scribes and tax collectors stayed. Today it is the same story. Presidents change, but many ministers and senior civil servants stay put. So when someone suggests cutting a process or department, there is resistance, not necessarily out of malice, but out of self-preservation. People fight to keep their desks relevant. Bureaucracy becomes the default because it defends itself better than any policy ever could. It's easier to add than to subtract. Got a problem? Make a rule. Add a form, create a committee. It feels responsible. It makes the boss feel in control. Killing old rules? That feels risky. What if something goes wrong? So we just keep layering. The people creating the system rarely use them. Politicians don't file for food stamps, CEOs don't fill out their own performance reviews, bureaucrats rarely stand in line for their own services, so when they design systems, they optimize for their control, not your experience. And there is fear. Fear creates red tape. Fear of being blamed, fear of missing something, fear of losing power. Want to make sure no one skips a step? Add 10 more steps. Want to avoid any mistake? Add a form to prove it wasn't your fault. Bureaucracy is a fear response with a badge and a filing cabinet. David Graeber said it best. Bureaucracy creates dead zones of the imagination. Places where no one thinks, no one questions, they just follow rules, even when they make no sense. And he pointed out that the system often persists because it's backed by authority, sometimes by courts or police. The threat of enforcement is what allows even absurd rules to stick around. This isn't hopeless. Some places have succeeded. Estonia digitized government services so well you can file taxes in 5 minutes. Georgia cut licenses and permits from over 900 to just over 100 in 1 year. These cases worked because they didn't just digitize bureaucracy, they deleted it. That's the key. So what can we do? Set kill switches. Every new process or team should have an expiration date or success criteria. If it doesn't deliver, scrap it. Why? Because if you don't, it will start inventing new work just to justify its own existence. Committees and processes rarely dissolve themselves. They persist out of inertia, reinventing their purpose and expanding their footprint even when the original problem is long gone. Ask, what if we didn't do this at all? Instead of automating a bad report, ask if the report is even needed. As Toyota famously put it, automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. Measure outcomes, not activity. If your goal is faster service, don't just track number of forms proceeded. Track how long people wait. Simplify like you mean it. If a 7-year-old can't understand the form, it's too complicated. David Graeber believed something like universal basic income could reduce bureaucracy by removing the need to constantly monitor and verify who deserves assistance. Cut the gatekeeping, cut the red tape. And this idea isn't just limited to public welfare. Even in the private sector, a baseline income could eliminate layers of performance tracking in low-wage jobs, reduce time spent proving productivity, and allow companies to simplify HR and compliance overhead. If people aren't desperate to prove they deserve every cent, the entire machinery of micromanagement begins to look unnecessary. The Iron Law of Liberalism isn't about bad people. It's about a system that's addicted to control, to appearances, to metrics. A system that can't stop creating red tape, even when it says it wants to cut it. Every time we chase efficiency through more tools, more rules, or more layers, we risk feeding the monster. So maybe next time someone promises to reduce complexity with a shiny new process, Ask if it follows the principles that actually work. Does it have a kill switch? Is it simple enough for a child to understand? Does it measure outcomes instead of activity? If not, we're probably just signing up for another login, another team, and 3 more signatures. Let's stop trying to automate nonsense. Let's stop feeding the paper dragon. And let's definitely stop trying to solve the problem of too many committees by creating a new committee. Consider liking, subscribing, and remember, curiosity killed a cat, but satisfaction brought it back. See you!